The statistics in the USA of the problems that happen and the damage done by bullying is as follows, according to Google. 1,200,000 high school dropouts per year because of bullying. There are over 500,000 suicide attempts a year in America because of bullying. There are 5,300 youth suicides annually because of bullying. Bullying is the second leading cause of death in America. Can you imagine? For youth. So when you look at this, you say, obviously not in frum schools. A frum child would bully another child? Impossible. What do you think bullying is? If this is 100, what percent do we have? I would say 0. The basis of being a Yid is not to hurt another Yid. Chazon Ish said, what is being a Yid? Going through your life without hurting another Jew. The whole Avram Avinu, what did he learn? What was Havei Mitalmidav Shel Avram Avinu? The whole basis of Yiddishkeit is not to chas v'sholom hurt somebody else. And unfortunately, I'm hearing many, many stories of kids who are broken, hurt, stabbed from bullying. And I feel terrible for these victims of bullying, who are, some of them on drugs, some of them who are suicidal, a lot of damage, or even just hurting. But I feel much worse for those who bullied. I feel so bad for those kids who are bullying other kids, who are hurting other neshamas, who have blood on their hands. And I feel even worse for their parents of these kids and the yeshivas, the mechanchim. What are they doing if they can't teach a child in your class not to hurt another Jew? What are we teaching them if we don't have the basics of the Aleph Beis? These kids who are bullying other kids are being over tremendous yisurim. Where's the chinuch?
But they're hurting, and that's why they're doing it.
Could be. So we have to figure out why they're hurting. Some of them are hurting. But you even need to know, when you're hurting, you don't take a knife and stab somebody. And now we know that words are painful. So you have kids who are bullying other kids during recess. You have kids who are holier than thou, putting other kids down. You're not good enough. We have families who are heroes of Klal Yisrael, b'makom shebal tshuva oimid, but they knock the kid because your parents are bali tshuva or your parents are different. We have kids who are judgmental. There are cliques. There are rumors about kids. We had over here tonight, their kid, there was a rumor about her. Horrible rumor, destroyed her completely. Lashon hara, rechilus, looking down on others. You're not yeshivish enough. You're not chassidish enough. You're not smart enough. You're not cool enough. You're not good looking enough. Where is the chinuch? I would really be shocked that it would be possible for a frum child who's growing up in a frum yeshiva, in a frum home, should ever be able to bully somebody else. Now, once in a while they make a mistake, I understand. But on a constant basis, to have a clique and the parents don't know about it, or the yeshiva and the chinuch doesn't know about it, and meanwhile, it's not just that they're doing averis. They're killing other people. We have kids who are off the derech for life. Chil Shabbos, eating on Yom Kippur, hurting themselves, cutting themselves, kids on drugs, because they were bullied in an environment which every kid needs to be safe. So we definitely have to do something about this, and it's easy. This is not something that's very hard to control. You can go ahead when you're teachers and mechanchim and na'alim in the yeshiva, and they have to make programs where we're going to make sure that no kid gets bullied. They're going to talk about Havedanas kala adam lakav schos al tadanas chavercha ad shedagilam kaimai. Reb Gershon Edelstein Shlita said, he's a Yeshiva of Panovich. The Chazon Ish said on him he doesn't even have a shminis of Gaiva. He's a direct link. And he said that there were Nebuch horrible deaths in Eretz Yisrael, a few terrible stories. And read the letter, I sent it out. He said it's very nice that everybody's doing everything, but his idea would be everybody should be makabel not to look down at anybody else, even b'machshava. We got to cut it out already. We lost the Beis HaMikdash over this stuff. We're losing so much. But now kids are getting hurt, kids who are little kids, innocent kids in 3rd grade, in 5th grade, in 7th grade, and they have to deal with being bullied by a gang, not of what you would think of Jewish kids, of frum kids who are getting knipped and they're getting hundreds and they're hurting somebody and they're being roidev kids and they're knocking kids. It's impossible. The whole Torah was only given after Midas. If you don't have Midas and you're ruining somebody's life, it's absolutely not shaykh to be. And I feel bad for the kids who are getting bullied, but I feel worse for the kids who are, not worse, terrible, for the kids who are bullying because they're all good kids. Somebody has to teach them. If you take them aside and you tell them, listen, do you realize you're hurting them? How about teaching our kids to care about the underdogs? How about teaching our kids in every class there are those kids who are on the bottom? Tell the top kids, part of an achrayus of being responsible, you're taka smart and you're taka good, instead of making a clique and looking down at it, you're the cool kid, teach them the achrayus of taking care of the shvacha kids. There's an achrayus, there's a responsibility of being successful, smart, funny, good looking. I was all of those things. I had a lot of responsibilities. I'm just kidding. So I'm just saying you have to teach those kids, right? And I'm very proud. I have stories I can tell. I just don't want to speak about personal stuff. I have a kid who was a captain of his basketball. He almost lost the game because at the last clutch time, it was a time of one of the kids who are not so good, shtickle klutzy, kid. It was his time to be in the lineup, and everybody said, don't let him in, they're going to lose the game, and he let him in. He was willing to lose the game, not to be mavaza a yid. That's great, that's midos. These are things that we need to teach our kids. Not everybody's going to be Ahmed bin Asayim, but it's like, it can't go unnoticed. So parents have to go and speak to their kids, all of them, for their sake. You cannot be part of bullying another kid. You can't be putting down another kid. And when you see the kids in your class, and you can ask them, tell me the kids, the nebuchs, the ones who are struggling, the challenged kids, the unpopular kids. Make a list of that. And Hanukkah, go give gifts to those. Tell your kid, go give gifts to that. And you'll see it's a bigger problem than you think. A lot of kids won't be nice to those kids because they're going to get bullied themselves. Sometimes you have a couple of bullies in the class that they'll bully everybody and they'll bully the teachers and the parents and the principal as well. And I feel so bad for them because they're not even a yid. They're not even a yid. It's not just about getting good marks. We have to protect the innocent. We have to protect the weak. And then we have to save the strong who are being abusive. Because if you're an abusive fourth grader, you can end up being an abusive husband, an abusive wife, an abusive boss, just an abusive person. And they don't need to be punished and yelled at and screamed at. They need to be fixed. You can go to them, and we're talking about little kids. Little kids adore adults. You got to fix the problem. You got to motivate them and come up with gifts and all these different stuff that they do in school to motivate kids and do at home to motivate kids, make graphs and charts, and go after and help out those weak kids, shvach kids, the kid who's not cool, the kid who's doesn't have friends. Those are the kids that you need to invite. I have another kid, I'm just thinking, no, I'm so proud of my other son. There was a kid in his class who's a real nebuch case. He really is. I can give you the list of reasons. He's a little off, and he's a little this and a little that, whatever. He was invited always to my house with all of the friends. And my son always made sure he was invited. Forget about that kid. I'm so proud of it's going to make the strong kids stronger. It's going to make our frum kids better. And go to Olam Haba for that. Mamish, this kid, and he got to know me, and he would always come over to me. Baruch Hashem, it's a few years later. He's doing much better than it looked like he would do. He's hanging in there. He's doing okay. And so many of my kids have stories like that. So it's just as much as important to do it for the kids who are being bullied as for the bullies themselves. Nobody wants to be bad. Sometimes they get caught up in it. They have a clique. Sometimes hard to break a clique, but when you see that kids are behaving this way, we have to be mechanech them because there's so many kids now who are suicidal because of bullying. There are kids who are dropping out of school because of bullying, and nobody can imagine the power of these bullies that they can really destroy somebody's life. Now, what should be done? Leave it for every school, manalim, to share the information, and parents to go out there and make sure that your kid doesn't have blood on his hands. I don't think that's too much to ask for. Frankly, I'm shocked that there could be such a thing because it's such a dirty, low thing to pick on somebody. So you could always have in class, a little pickery, a little picking, but bullying like that kind of thing on a constant basis because your family's poor, what do you want from the kid? Oh, I feel bad for the rich kids who are saying that. What do you want from the family? We have to teach kids not to be mean, not to think mean, not to look down at other people. Okay, the cool kids are not always going to get together with the not cool kids. There's always going to be different styles. That's okay, but nobody should look down. You could be thankful. You could say, thank you, Hashem, that I'm very cool, very good looking, comes from Hashem. Thank you, my parents are matzliach and they have money. But the kids should learn to be humble with that. Realize they didn't earn it. They didn't do anything to earn it. They should be very lucky and they should share their wealth in any category with those that are weaker than them. They're only going to be better Jews because of it, and we can help Klal Yisrael. We have to eradicate bullying legamri. No insulting, no putting down, and if they make a mistake, at least they know to apologize. It doesn't continue. Let's try.